I mean, it's not my money.
Time to put in a ticket. Yes, they are.
I'm going to call to order the May 21st Seabrook City Council meeting at 6 p.m. Please rise for the pledge. Okay. Item 1.1, public comments and announcements. At this time, we'd like to listen to any member of the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 4 minutes for each speaker, shall be limited to city business or city-related business or matters of general public interest, and shall not include any personal attacks. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, members may not discuss or take action on any item that has not been posted on the agenda. When your name is called, please come to the podium and state your name and address clearly into the microphone before making your comments. Hilda Giangrosso.
Hi, my name is Hilda. Can you hear me? Hi, my name is Hilda Giangrosso, and I'm at 3405 Ocean Ridge Circle. I just want to say a few words and recognize someone that does not get enough recognition and doesn't like to be put on the spotlight. But tonight, I am going to put him on the spotlight to thank him for his contributions to Seabrook. His name is Robbie Saban. Robbie Saban established Seabrook Lucky Trails Marathon in 2004, which continues, give me a second, oh my goodness, in March, drawing over 1,800 runners from every end of Texas and the nation. He has been the director of Running Alliance Sport for 20 years. This nonprofit organization not only supports marathon clubs, but also donates its proceeds to local charities supporting sexual and violence survivors, children with special needs and their families, and introduces school-age children to marathon running. Robbie began sponsoring the Mileage Club at Ed White Elementary School back in 2010. It started with 40 kids, and participation has now grown to over 600 students. His organization provides medals and T-shirts to every runner. And I invite you all and council to the Ed White Eastham Celebration Run on Friday, March 24th at 9 a.m. to cheer on the satellites and to share in Robbie's last race at Ed White. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2.4. we want to recognize the Seabrook Municipal Court for receiving the Mady Runner-Up Award for the Coalition of American Court Collectors. Judge. This is a huge award for being recognized by our city with our city courts. It's a very prestigious award. We've been runner-up in the past, but year after year, this is a hard accomplishment. And our court does a wonderful job. They've been during COVID, we were one of the first in the nation to go remotely, and judge and our court system did a wonderful job, and we're recognized for that too. So, Judge, here is your award. I know you were presented it already,
Right.
but I want to say a few words.
Well, actually, thank you for just a minute. I do want to say thank you very much for this recognition. The Seabrook Municipal Court really appreciates all the support that the council gives us, and it's certainly quite an honor to be recognized nationally. It is one of the only national awards that's based on collections and compliance. And Jessica and Sarah, the director of municipal court services, actually received the award. This was at the very beginning of April, so it was last month. And here also with the court is Christina Duran and Amanda Carlisle, who are also here. They're just wonderful staff that we have here in Seabrook that helps make this an excellent court. So we thank you for your time and support.
We appreciate it.
All right, Dick, you got a smile. I will.
One, two, three.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good job. Thank you.
Okay, we also have a piece of housekeeping before we go on with presentations. If you want to turn to item 4.4, under new business, we have to take care of this before a presentation. So, item 4.4, consider and approve upon the first reading of ordinance 2024-13, a budget amendment in the amount of $1,825 for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023. An ordinance amending the amount of appropriations for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2022 and ending September 30th, 2023 by authorizing certain additions in the amount of $1,825 for debt service fund, authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to facilitate the changes identified, and finding available the unencumbered funds for the supplemental appropriations and/or reserve reduction. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve 4.4.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, now we can go back to presentations. Item 2.2, presentation of fiscal year 2022-2023 comprehensive annual financial report and audit report conducted by Belt Harris Pacheco. Okay. LLP.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Daniel Hebert with Bill Harris, here to present the results of the 2023 audit to you all. I might be loud enough without it, but I'll be taking you through a couple of pages in your report, presenting some high-level information. I'll take any questions you have at the end. Before I get started, I do want to thank Mike and Kat for all of their help in getting the audit finished this year. Again, We do this every year, but it feels like, there's 10,000 things that they can do all year long to stay in compliance with all kinds of rules and regulations that are required of them. And I get to come and annoy them with lots of emails, requests, and budget amendments at the end of the year. So again, very, very appreciative of all of your help. Before I get into the report, I do want to point out there's a sort of supplemental report, if you will. This year, we kind of had the same thing last year as well. This is your single audit report. I'm not going to go over any specific numbers in there or anything. There's nothing specific to note, but that is the report that we issue regarding the compliance for expenditure of federal awards. Anytime a governmental entity expends more than $750,000 of federal awards in a given year, we have to perform that sort of additional procedures and things of that nature. So that report is included as well. So if you'll follow me back in our big book to page number 15. Page number 15 is our independent auditor's report, otherwise known as our opinion letter. I am pleased to say we've issued an unmodified opinion on the city's financial statements. It is the highest level of assurance that we can give that the city's financial statements are materially correct and that all of the required disclosures under the generally accepted accounting principles in the United States have been made. In other words, it's a clean opinion. It's what you want to hear. If you'll come back with me to page number 33. Page number 33 is our statement of net position, otherwise known as a balance sheet. This is a full accrual financial statement, so that means your long-term items such as capital assets, long-term liabilities, things of that nature are presented on this financial statement. Here I'll just point out that between your governmental and business type activities, the city ended the year with total assets of about $147 million, total liabilities of about $50.9 million, and an overall ending net position of about $100 million. If we go back to page number 36, we'll see that same type of financial statement, a balance sheet. However, this is presented on a modified accrual basis of accounting, so those long-term items such as assets, long-term liabilities, etc., are not presented on this financial statement. This is much more akin to the basis of accounting on which you would adopt your budget. Here I'll just point out that the general fund, the main operating fund of the city, ended the year with total assets of about $10.5 million, total liabilities of about $851,000, and an overall ending fund balance of about $8.9 million. And then if we go back to page number 40 and 41, we can kind of see how we got there. This is our statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance, otherwise known as an income statement, again, presented on that modified accrual basis of accounting, so this should look very similar to your adopted budget. Here I'll just point out that the general fund, again, that main operating fund, ended the fiscal year 2023 with total revenues of about $11.7 million, total expenditures of about $13.9 million, and after some other financing sources and uses, we had a net increase in general fund balance of about $3 million, leaving you with that ending fund balance of about $8.9 million. As a general indicator of financial health, we typically look at that ending fund balance number, your bond rating agencies and the like to see about 3 to 6 months of operating expenditures contained in that ending fund balance number. So I'm pleased to say that $8.9 million represents almost 65% of your overall operating expenses for the year, about 7.5 months. So very, very healthy fund balance there. If we did that same type of analysis but included all the governmental funds of the city, your debt service, your capital projects, and all of your non-major governmental funds, that total is presented on the right-hand side, page number 41. The total ending fund balance of $18.8 million represents a little bit more than 100% of your overall operating expenditures of around $18.6 million. So again, almost 12 months, a little bit more than 12 months in reserve there. So very, very healthy. With that, I will conclude my presentation and take any questions you all might have.
Any questions, council? Just one. Go ahead.
And so in summary, there were no findings by the,
Correct, yes, sir.
thank you.
Well, good job, Mike. Again. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Presentation of the post-event report from the Seabrook Lucky Trails event. Robbie.
Good afternoon.
Oh,
Thank you. I guess I should put my glasses on. That comes with age. First of all, thank you, City Council, for your support all over the years. It's been great. Our 21st running of the Seabrook Lucky Trails has been just as fantastic as ever. Just wanted to come back and, kind of give you a little review of what happened this past year. And it's kind of strange that we talk about the weather this week. We had really bad weather. Back in March, the week of our race, starting like the week before, all the way through the week, all the weather people are talking about the bad weather that's coming, the bad weather that's coming. And we had to fend off, and we had to put our policy in place telling people that we don't cancel the race unless it's absolutely necessary. That morning, we will cancel the race if it's necessary and if it's dangerous. And Friday, we were expecting some rain to come through that evening, and we thought, well, if we can start the race before the rain come through, I think we'll be okay. And as we were watching that weather come through on Friday, there was like one big storm coming, and right before it got to Seabrook, it kind of split up and came down, and we didn't have any rain at all that afternoon. We had a little bit of wind, but that was it. On Saturday, we were okay, and I want to thank the mayor for being there that Saturday morning. Sunday, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm looking at how are we going to cancel the race, and what am I going to tell all these people that are registered to come in on Sunday? 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going, okay, I'm working out a plan, and what are we going to tell the people? At 2 o'clock, I'm calling everybody and said, hey, we might have to cancel the race. 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, said, the race is going to happen, that storm is going to come through, we might end up starting late. And lo and behold, we started the race, instead of 7:15 at 7:30, the sun came out, and we had an awesome, awesome race. I'm so proud of that. That was really a good call on our part, not having to cancel when, and we would have ended up with people just not happy with us that we canceled a race that we could have had. So anyways, this is our 21st anniversary. As beautiful Hilda said, we started in 2004. So if we go to page 3, can I scroll, or can I scroll, or do I have to get it loaded?
No, she's gonna have to control it.
Okay, so this is kind of like where we're at with the Friday run. Saturday, as I mentioned, the mayor was here, and Sunday we ended up with a tremendous amount of numbers. And as I mentioned in here, 5K and the quarter marathon were a great success. And I know a lot of the city employees came and participated on Friday with the 5K and the 5K on Sunday. As a matter of fact, a couple of the city employees came out with some hardware as well. So that was pretty neat. As far as the runner demographics, we had 1,600 people. I think we would have ended up with, close to 18 to 1,900 had not it be for the weather scare. We've always had a bigger advantage or bigger representation on the female side. We have the younger people, the older people, an 84-year-old man and 82-year-old female that ran our race. It's always been a great community run. I think adding the 5K on Friday and Saturday has really been a great success for us and great growth for the race. As far as where the people came from, they came from everywhere, as you can see from the map. And we had people from Canada and we had people from Mexico, but I just did not know how to tag the Canada and Mexico. So you can tell it came from all over, predominantly Texas. We always have a good representation from Dallas-Fort Worth area and, Louisiana as well. And so, I didn't count how many states, but I'm going to guess maybe about 24 or 25 states that came to our race. We obviously we advertise. We have over 20,000 people on our email list. We went to the Dallas Marathon. We went to a few other marathons to promote our race and promote Seabrook. So it always great, to see people from other races and tell them about our race, even if they don't. They say they're busy and they can't do this March, but at least they would know about this race, so they can put it on their calendar for future reference, future races. So on the next slide, we had obviously we had music on all 3 days. It was really a lot of fun. People enjoyed it. We had great weather. I don't know what the weather people say. They keep their job even though they're 90% wrong most of the time. So I would have been fired a long time ago. On social media, we have a lot of followers, and we have 12 ambassadors that always promote our races on all social media platforms, because I'm too old and don't know how to do that. On the next page, we talk about direct email and all the events that we promote. We promote our event as well, and all the events together. So it's a pretty good. We have a pretty good following, and anytime we send out any email, we're consistently at 30 to 35% open rate, which is unheard of. Constant Contact always send us this, like you won this badge, because your open rate is pretty high. So that's pretty good. And on the next few pages, I just have pictures of people, just telling us how much they enjoyed our race. I want to say we hardly ever hear from somebody says, "Hey, I did not like your race," or it wasn't up to par. Best post-race party, best group, best everything. It's just overall a good event. And I'm not saying that because of me, but I'm just gonna pat myself on a little bit. I'm just joking. So, anyways, I'm just giving you an overall. What people are saying, it's unsolicited. Just people are just talking about how much fun they had with this event. It's been a great event for us. We recognize the people. We recognize the people that come in year after year as well. Talk about Ed White, and what Hilda failed to mention is that her kids were at Ed White at the time in the year 2010, 2011, and Hilda and Mike said, "Hey, we want to do something for the kids," and she's the one that kind of prompted us to go, try and start that mileage club. So thank you, Hilda. First year, we had probably about maybe 40 kids, maybe 42 kids maximum that kind of finished. And basically what it is that kids run throughout the year and they log their miles. And once they get to 26 miles, then they have run a marathon. So every year, toward the end of the year, in May, we have a celebration for them. We the race, we give every kid that have accomplished that a T-shirt and a medal, and the shirts are going to be ready tomorrow, so I don't have a sample of the shirts, but I do have a sample of the medal, so all the kids get a medal, and I'm going to pass it on. So in the last few years, we have had the entire school participate in the mileage club. So over 600 kids that get a shirt and get a medal. And the last 3 years, we have had kids that have finished twice the distance. So we end up having to offer kids a 52-point medal. So, we're really proud of that. It gets the kids into exercising, running, and hopefully they'll come and run with us once they get a little bit older. With that, on my last hurrah is that obviously I need glasses, and I'm getting up there in age. So I was trying to kind of scale back a little bit and not do as many races. With that, we found a really great guys that have done races before, and they're going to take over. And I promise that I will do a lot of hand holding and a lot of participation, and I'm not going away. I'm just going to kind of hand over the reign to somebody that is going to, younger, more energetic, and going to bring it to a next level. With that, I would like to introduce the three brothers. Actually, there are two brothers. So, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us, and we're very honored that Robbie is giving us these races, and we've been working with him. I've done so many of his races. I remember, I think my first race was the toughest 10K. Which one was that? Kima. and I love the way you handle things. And then I searched out and did all these races. So he was like the first one we reached out to when we were thinking of starting our own running event company, and it's an honor for us him to trust us his races, especially this one, the Seabrook run. We volunteered for the last one, and it was a great experience. And a little bit about us, like we love running. We've done a lot of races, and we decided to hold races in, let's say, cities that don't really have races. So we brought our first race was to the city of Orange, and we were the biggest race they've ever had historically. And then we did the same thing with Port Neches, and we were the biggest race they've had historically also. So we really want to do the same thing with Seabrook. The way we have our concept is we want people to not only do the race, but visit the city afterwards. So we always try to market like just our race and also all the things you could do in the city. So if you visit our website and you see any of our races, it's like where to eat, things to do. And we have a YouTube channel that we kind of do the same thing. So we're very excited with the city of Seabrook. I see a lot of things that we could kind of highlight, and really want to highlight the city of Seabrook and bring more people to do this race. But very, very thankful to you, Robbie.
All right. Open for any questions.
Okay, any questions, anybody?
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Oh, and I forgot to mention the city, the staff, Kevin, Lieutenant Brand. You guys are just awesome. I appreciate all the help that you give us. That's what makes it such a good event. Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie. Good job. Okay, 2.1. Want to present a proclamation declaring May 19th, 2024 through May 26th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Come on up, guys. Okay. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, and hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating the Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, I, Tom Kolupski, Mayor of the City of Seabrook, in recognition of the event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th through May 26th as Emergency Medical Services Week. The 50th anniversary of EMS Week theme is EMS Week, honoring the past, forging our future. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Thank you. You guys want to come up, take a picture?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Evan.
Okay. Three the consent agenda. 3.1, approve the minutes of the May 7th, 2024 City Council meeting. And 3.2, approve the quarterly investment report for the period of January 2024 through March 2024.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Consider 4.0 new business. 4.1, consider take all appropriate action on resolutions 2024-13 CenterPoint rate change denial. A resolution of the City of Seabrook, Texas, finding that CenterPoint Energy Houston Electric LLC's requested increase to its electrical transmission and distribution rates and charges within the city should be denied, finding that the city's reasonable rate case expenses shall be reimbursed by the company, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed is open to the public as required by law, requiring notice of this resolution to the company and GCCC legal counsel. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve 4.1.
Any questions? Comments? Go ahead.
Do we have any recourse from them if we don't approve this?
No, so this is part of the Gulf Coast Coalition that we belong to. There's a number of cities that belong to the coalition. Every time that CenterPoint makes a rate filing case, we get notice as the cities, and belonging to this coalition, it gives us a legal backing to go and dispute those. They have experts that then go in, look at the rate filing, tear it apart a little bit, argue that point, and we've been successful with the coalition of being able to not get the full rate impact a lot of times. So it's kind of a shelter for us to write.
Well, it's a check and balance, first of all. I mean, there are no other organizations that keep those kind of rating increases in check. Second of all, I've yet to see a time when the benefit of the reduction itself has always been more than the cost to hire these firms to handle this for us. So I think it's not only good for the city, but it's good for all residents in Texas.
Any other questions? All in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you. 4.2, consider and take all appropriate action on the acceptance and approval of the comprehensive annual financial report and audit report for fiscal year 2022-2023 conducted by Belterra Paycheck.
4.2.
Any questions? Comments? All in favor? Passes unanimously. 4.3, consider and take all appropriate action on the appointment of a mayor pro tem for one-year term for 2024-25.
I would like to make a motion to re-nominate Buddy for another term, for another year.
Can I make a motion as well?
Sure, anybody can.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Joe McCall. It's his 7th year serving as the council, and he has one more year before his term's out. I think it's, for that reason, a good fit, and he deserves it.
Anyone else? All in favor of Buddy, raise your hands. All in favor of Joe? Buddy, you get another term. We did 4.4 already. 4.5, consider and approve on the first reading of ordinance 2024-14, a budget amendment for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024, in the amount of $5,000 to fund the Carruthers Garden Community Partnership Agreement. An ordinance amending the amount of appropriations for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2023 and ending September 30th, 2024 by authorizing certain additions in the amount of $5,000 for general fund, authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to facilitate the changes identified, and finding available unencumbered funds for the supplemental appropriation and/or reserve reduction. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve 4.5.
Any questions, comments?
Why are we, this is for, with the insurance funds, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Which one are we on?
This is
Oh, sorry.
this is to amend the budget for the 5,000.
Okay.
Sorry, Mike.
All in favor? It's unanimous, thank you. 5.0, old business. 5.1, consider to take all appropriate action on the cost estimate for the 502 Pine Gully Carruthers Guest House, Casita, to bring the restroom into ADA compliance for public use. Brian, see here.
You can come up. Mayor and Council, we prepared kind of the presentation that's attached to your agenda jointly with Public Works. So at a past council meeting, we were tasked with, after we've identified that this would be a public facility, of what the cost would be to bring that into ADA compliance. So Brian and Kevin have worked with a couple of contractors to get the best cost estimate for the least minimal improvements to make this ADA accessible. So in the presentation, I've just kind of recapped that we talked about this on the March 5th agenda. We're tasked with getting that cost estimate. Public Works has done that. I didn't attach obviously the full listing of the quote that they've gotten, but the $85,000 is inclusive of a contingency of 20%, which is pretty standard on all of our contracts if something happens. 85 is to do what Brian will show in these next few slides to the modifications. I just noted on here that this is currently not in the CIP, so if direction or action is taken tonight, we'll need to talk about funding and which fund that comes out of. The map was put in just for proximity, and if not available, to walk out there to understand where our restrooms are, when you look at some of the modifications to the facility. So Brian, I'll let you, on the next few slides, if you want to explain what the scope of work would entail for the $85,000.
Sure. The first thing that they pointed out, or the contractor pointed out, was we have to have an ADA ramp to get in the building. The actual door width would have to be widened to 36 inches. The floor in the building would have to be smoothed out. They wouldn't allow that rough tile surface. So the existing restroom would be demoed, a wall would be removed, and the existing dressing room would all become a restroom. These are like pictures of what it would look like as part of the process. To keep the existing tile in the office area and in the kitchen area the same, they would have to wall off that area, a walled off corridor with the doors to each side. So you can kind of see that I try to do a wall and a door. We also got prices on a prefabbed restroom, and the costs are around $100,000 to $170,000, depending on one restroom or two restroom.
All right, and so Mayor and Council, this just kind of wrapped up to give you just a comparison cost with the $85,000 that Public Works, that kind of fulfills getting the cost estimate. So we'll take any questions on the information that we've presented.
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, if you, on the reconfiguration of Casita, you're going to wind up with a single unisex bathroom? Is that correct? Or you would have two bathrooms in there?
It's going to be a single unisex bathroom.
A what?
A single
So it'd
bathroom
be a unisex bathroom.
at that price.
And you'd have to wall off part of the casita.
You would wall off both sides of the, you would make it like a hallway going into the restroom with doors on either side.
Okay.
So whenever you walked in, the second picture, that's what you would kind of see when you walked in the front door. You would see just like a hallway, the restroom, there would be a door over that, there would be a door to the office area, and there would be a door to the kitchen area.
Okay, and this will be open to everybody in Pine Park, correct?
It could be.
Okay.
Jackie?
Is this a true ADA rule with you can't have tile?
That's what the contractor was saying, building code, you can't have that rough surface.
I mean, there's hospitals that have tile floors and,
The tile in there's got
Tile
It's,
for
it's
its
a,
roughness.
it's a Spanish, and it's a
the
Spanish.
type of tile.
Yeah.
It's a type of
oh,
tile.
yes, okay.
Wheelchair.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Rob, no, I'm sorry. Who had a question?
Me?
Okay.
All right. So, because I can't remember, are we doing this because we have to, or are we doing this just, because we got an email from Jesse earlier that he wasn't really for this right now, because we'd like to spend the money elsewhere, obviously. But would this money also come out of the money that we still have available that we can use?
I believe this would be an eligible expense that could come out of the insurance proceeds because it's an ADA. It's like we did to the main house when we were causing it to be public. So we did ADA modifications to the main house. That was bond worthy. So yes, this would probably be a bond worthy expense.
Okay.
I have a question. Why everywhere else in town where we're in a flood zone do we have to raise this in the air? And we don't have to do it here?
The elevations are drastically different. I don't
I
know
think
if
this
you,
elevation is above the base
It
flood
is?
elevation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Have to
think,
double check though.
I didn't think it was.
When you go up,
I was told it was the highest point in Seabrook, actually. if
it's
that's
pretty
true.
tall.
I thought it was still in a flood zone.
It's in the flood zone. I remember the old house, I think if you raised the old house 6 inches, it would have been out of the flood zone, but I can't remember exactly, but it's a pretty high point.
Okay. All right.
There's a lot of great plans over there at Carruthers, a lot of great stuff going on. I would hope to see, as we put all that together, I would hope to be in a position that a single-person unisex bathroom would not be adequate to the task at hand. And if it's not, then we would have to come back and redo something else later on. If we choose to carry forward with this, I'd strongly suggest that we wait to do it until we really know what's going to happen on Carruthers and we have that fleshed out and underway. It may be a good idea, it may not be, but I think this is a wrong time to move forward with it.
So I talked to the guy that came here and talked about Carruthers before, the guy in the electric wheelchair had the diving accident. He said, you don't have to do this, not at all. And he's kind of an expert on this. So I think we need to hear from him, people like that, and then obviously put this aside now because I don't think we need to be spending this kind of money on this. And I understand about smooth floor, but there's ways to make that smooth floor 10 times cheaper with a hard rubber mat that doesn't have the bumps and then it's smooth. But there's a million ways to make it a lot cheaper. But anyway, in talking to that guy, he said there's a lot of easier ways to do that. And I didn't think we were making this open to the whole public. I thought this was just trying to, upgrade it a little bit for the people who are actually out there and use it every once in a while. But anyhow.
I just think going forward, we need to take a look at, this would be open to the public. And we're looking at a new pier, additional people coming down there. Carruthers Community Gardens has boasted and, reported that Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, youth groups, elderly people, we had a parade of people come up here during the presentation talking about the need for a bathroom facility. I would be very reluctant to have a unisex bathroom. I mean, who's going to police that? And the fact is, I mean, we've got, bathrooms throughout. If you amortize it over 30 years, I mean, it's less than the annual grant that we're doing for the community gardens. So if we're going to do it, let's just do it right one time instead of spending $80,000 on a unisex bathroom that nobody's there to monitor who's going in and out. And if you want to delay it, that's fine. We can put it off to the CIP meeting. But again, if we're going to do Carruthers right, it's going to be a Zen garden and doing it up, let's do it right. Let's have male, female, something that's going to be there and will last. And it can leave the casita alone. Just my thoughts.
My 2 cents, I like the pronouns male, female.
And Joe.
Which the jury is still out on. Okay, so what is the direction?
Motion to deny.
Or to table,
Move to the CIP.
Did you? who
I
said
mean, if we
to table?
table this, we have to come back to it, right?
Oh, already tabled it. 6.0 routine business. 6.1 city manager update to city council on various items that require no action, including Seabrook boards and commissions, transportation projects, Port of Houston rail spur, City of Seabrook CIP projects, economic development updates, and City of Seabrook grant administration.
Mayor, I'm sorry, can we just go back for the record, make sure I know what just happened on the old business? What was the comment?
I thought Joe, did you table that? Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Okay, there's a motion on,
I made a motion to table.
all in favor? Okay.
Okay. All right. Mayor and Council, on routine business, not a whole lot to report. We did have a meeting, I think since our last council meeting, staff went over and met with the contractor for the Green Ribbon landscaping project. That one has been pushed to August 1st before crews actually are going to roll in on this one. So they're going to be looking at probably stockpiling items such as the nautical bollards, probably some of the riprap and such. And so we'll be looking for possible laydown yards for this in the coming months. So you may see some activity in the right-of-way areas, but actual crews and planting will not happen until early March at this point. So this one's a little bit different. Again, not really a lot to report on our transportation. I'd reached out to the Williams Brothers crew over here, and they're basically just reporting they're finishing those foundations. We'll have some upcoming road closures that they'll be passing on to us and the public in that intersection. Again, we've had a couple of people reach out to us concerned about that intersection there at Old 146 and Red Bluff, and talking to a TxDOT representative, they put some material in those holes over there. So I know that you guys are probably like staff and continue to get a lot of complaints. I don't have an expected timeline yet. We'll continue to ask and hopefully get that ahead of time. Reported before is at when time they do that intersection, they are cautioning us that that whole intersection is going to be closed for an extended period of time. So it'll be much needed, but it will cause a little bit of a disruption for the east side trying to normally come out at Red Bluff. So CIP updates, again, we are, Brian and Kevin are working on the wastewater plant, and they are talking with them today. We've got about 3 or 4 months before 100% of those flows are back to the new plant, but it's getting very, very close and almost there. We are working on the other CIP projects. A lot of these, again, still are in design. Right before left last week, the fire training tower, we've worked with the representative with the fire department, so we'll jump back on that. project, and we should have some pretty good estimates, and that should be coming in the next couple of months to council, hopefully. The representative was pretty sound on the design that he's looking at as far as the structure. We've got some site plans and foundation quotes yet to go on that. EMS and EOC building staff and Director of Emergency Services met with the architect in the last couple of weeks, and we are looking, kind of nailed down the final design on that. They'll go into proposal and final drawings, so we'll be coming back to report on that, and that's still sticking about the 12 to 18-month range on that project. Other than that, not a whole lot of activity. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one. You know, on the under the overpasses or along 146, you know, they had them backlit, the stars. Now they're off. When are they coming back on? Well,
I don't know. I know they're still connecting a lot of stuff to electrical. They've got painting yet to do on a number of those. So the project with Weber is not officially closed out until we're saying the end of May, but obviously it's going to be, they're not going to close the camp and everything until June, middle of June is what they're reporting now. So those type of cleanup projects, I think will have to wait till complete closeout because they're doing things, painting, disconnecting. Those connections that went along the feeder road, I'm sure probably have something to do with it, but they're not quite finished, so.
I have one, since we're talking about that, and I noticed it again coming over here. At the intersections underneath where you U-turn, the pallets of tile are stacked up pretty high and pretty far towards the end, so it makes it hard to see, and that's in the daytime. I mean, I'm sure it's really hard to see at nighttime. If they can move that back, I think it's at both intersections underneath over the freeway.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? 6.2, establish future meeting dates and agenda items. That's you.
All right, Mayor and Council, our next regular City Council meeting will be held on June 4th at 6 p.m. And then there will be a special City Council meeting that's going to be held on June 11th at 6 p.m. as well.
Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, well, I'd like to make a motion to, or not a motion, but I'd like to add something to the agenda, the hotel signs, please, again, if we can discuss that, please.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor? We are adjourned at 6:52. Yeah, I just wanted to, he thanked me.
What time is the special council meeting?
I already got it. They said it was
Oh, that's exciting.
approval. And actually, it's probably been 4 weeks.